What's going on, people? Welcome back to Premzy TV. And as you can see, I got my good friend all the way from Japan. Massive, massive gooner in the place. Harry, what you telling me, my bro?
Yes,
You
hey,
good?
we are top of the league. Say we are
We
top of the
on
league.
top of the
We
league.
are top of the league.
That's it. You tell him.
Fucking hell,
You
mate,
tell him.
come on, get in.
Yo, bro, I'm telling you, man is loving life right
Oh,
about
life is
now, bro.
brilliant, man. Life
Loving
is
life.
good.
But
Good
look,
days,
look.
good days, good days.
We're going to get into a few things, yeah. First of all, big up for the super chat, Wagwan. We're starting Jesus on the left wing, Eddie Nketiah up front. Look, yeah, we will definitely be speaking about that a little bit later on. Just before we touch on the Eddie situation and the Jesus situation, we are going to be having a look at like a mid-season Arsenal review
Yep.
and just having a talk about how we've got on right now. And I'll be honest with you, Harry, I don't think any Arsenal fan, any opposing fan, could see Arsenal in this position at this time, halfway through the season, 50 points at the top of the Premier League. How have you seen it, bro?
Mate, it's maturity. I love every single fucking second of it, you know. And before the season started, right, I remember talking to you. You were saying top four and winning Europa League was the best we could do. I remember your words, mate, you know. But Arteta, Edu, the boys, you know, going back, remember those games against Newcastle and Spurs last season when we were absolutely nailed all over the fucking pitch, mate. You know the games that I mean, yeah?
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, I was there at Newcastle, yeah, and I'm not going to lie, bro,
mate.
it was fucking awful, mate. They
Pain.
drowned us out as well with the singing as well,
Totally.
bro. Mad
And it's
atmosphere.
not just the pain of last season, man. It's been happening for the last 18 years. You know, seeing Mustafi fall over his own legs and stuff, you know. But, mate, what I say is maturity, 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 momentum, 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 my son. I love it, mate.
Do you
But
know
you
what,
know
Harry?
what, man, Premzy? You know what, Premzy? What's the most important is after there's been a little bit of hiccuping, you know, on the road for, let's say, against the match against United, which we should have won. What was important is the reaction straight afterwards, man. And we played Brentford. Remember that game, 3-0,
Yeah.
where we rinsed Brentford, 3-0. And then the other day, you know, drawing against Newcastle, straight off, and then it's the North London derby. We nail Spurs 2-0 too. It's the reaction which has been important. And my God, you know, people have been turning up. The boys have been turning up, and life is good, man. Eddie too, mate. Yes.
Eddie. We're going to talk on Eddie because I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we'll talk on it when time comes. But big up Gooner Lee in the chat. Big up Kishan in the chat. Obviously, Gooner Lee and me have been back and forth about the Eddie situation. You know, he maybe put my hands up once or twice over it, but it is what it is. But look, the team have been impressive. I think what Arteta's kind of done, he's come in and more this season than last. And I think a big part of it's down to Jesus and Zinchenko coming into the team and even William Saliba to an extent coming in and shoring things up at the back. I think the mentality switch has been unbelievable. The fight, the will, the spirit, the never die attitude. We go 1-0 down, we draw 1-1. They don't stop until the last minute. Now, there's a player that I want to talk about first as well, because obviously we know you're from Japan. And we know this is a Japanese international. And since he's come, there we go. Big Tommy. Big Tommy.
Yes. Let's have it. Let's have the Tomiyasu banter in the house.
Let's talk about Tomiyasu. Look, Tomiyasu, he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's come to Arsenal. He's been absolutely unbelievable. He's come in. He's done a job when we need him to do a job. But Ben White has come in. And Ben White has been absolutely brilliant. He's been so good to a standard that Tomiyasu is getting. He's getting little bits of minutes here, little bits of minutes there. Sometimes he's having to go out onto the left back position to try to get into the team. What is the whole situation with Tomiyasu and Ben White? Do you think that we need to kind of facilitate both of them getting in the team a little bit more, or are you sticking with Ben White because of the way Ben White's been playing?
Listen, it's all about adapting to the condition of the actual match itself. The other game against Man United, and I think it was you who was saying, okay, Ben White looks a bit dodgy. He's got that yellow against Rashford, and he couldn't dive in because of that yellow, right? adaptability, that Tomiyasu, his versatility coming in at right back and coming in at left back too. You know, there was that argument, like people were saying, the Arsenal haters were saying, okay, no Zinchenko, no Jesus, you guys are fucked. And when Zinchenko was injured, and he has been injured a fair amount of the time, Tomiyasu slotted in, KT slotted in, you know, it's this versatility, which is good. And to be honest, the competition that Tommy's had, I think it's brilliant. Listen, Tommy is a serious guy, you know. There's no partying with him, you know. From what I've heard, he goes to bed at like 10 in the evening after stretching and, you know, having a good long bath. And he's so professional about the situation, you know. Of course, he wants to get into the game, but no, he loves the competition and he will perform 100%. He just needs a bit more game time. It's got to be said. But with Europa League coming along, you know, I'm fairly sure, you know, the compatibility between Ben White and Tomiyasu it can't be better, the situation.
No, 100. I think Tomiyasu, he's going to have plenty of times, like you said, with the Europa League coming in. Hopefully we beat City tomorrow and we're deeper in the FA Cup and he'll have game time there. But I think this is what we need to start to understand as football fans, as Arsenal fans, that if in order to create a winning culture, we need to not just only have a fantastic first 11, we need to have a fantastic squad, because there's going to be times, for example, against Manchester United, Ben White, he got a yellow card early in the game. Rashford has been on fire this season, on fire. And it was such a smart move. Like, I don't know if you watched my match day vlog, but in my match day vlog, if you realize at half time, I said, if I was Arteta, I'll bring Ben White off and put Tomiyasu on now, because it's going to be very difficult. And the guy read my mind. He took Ben White off at halftime, brought Tomiyasu on. And that is the kind of quality that we need coming on into the game and not putting a foot wrong, not making much of a difference at all. And this is what we need to do around the whole squad, I believe. I think bringing in Leandro Trossard, I'll get your thoughts on him in a moment. Bringing in him as well has given us well-needed squad depth on the wings. He's ball-footed, left-footed, right-footed. He's a nimble player. For me, I haven't seen a player come into Arsenal like that since Santi Cazorla, who can play with both feet, can shoot with both feet. And I loved Santi. I loved him. What do you make of Leandro? Are you happy with the signing? I know that you want in Mitoma.
I love it, mate. I've got a fair number of thoughts about the Mudryk situation, but I'm sorry. Trossard under 30 mil, right? Yeah. He's got the experience. He's got the versatility, and he knows how to press the game, you know. If you look at his stats, he's probably like top 5 for the last third amount of pressure and the amount of tackles he's made as a winger. You know, he's just brilliant. And you saw how his temperament, you know, how chilled he was in a game of such massive importance. And his feet, his little nimble feet, precisely got me going. He had those Cazorla vibes. You know, it was brilliant, you know, and we'll see more of him. We shall see a lot more of him, especially with the Man City Cup game coming across. But it's really important to have like a quality B team, or have like quality squad, because the day is going to come where it's going to be Saka, or it's going to be Martinelli, or it's going to be Eddie, and they're going to get injured, or they're just kind of completely burnt out. You know, you saw how Saka was towards the end of the last season. Yeah, he needed that backup, and believe it or not, we do have that backup. We need one or two more players, especially in the party position.
100%. I was going to say that we definitely need a midfielder in this window, because now, being in a position that we haven't been for 18, 19 years, we have to now capitalize on it, in my opinion. Exactly. I think this is now the stepping stone for not just next season, but for the rest of the seasons to come. Because look, if Arsenal don't win the league and we get to the end of the season and we've been fighting toe to toe with Man City and we just finished second, there's no shame in that. Man City are a different animal. They've got the know-how how to win the league. They've won 4 out of the last 5. And also it'll give us belief as Arsenal fans that, you know what, next year we could turn up, we could challenge for the league. And that's all we want for Arsenal fans, belief. But if we can go on and win the Premier League, win a big cup, win the Europa League, something like that, that will only be a stepping stone for brighter things to come in the future. I can see it already. And if we can break that barrier, get over the hurdle, something we haven't done in a very long time. I'm telling you now, just imagine the kind of players, the caliber of players that want to join Arsenal Football Club. It'll be totally different to what we've seen over the years. Now, anybody in mind that you might like to see coming in the midfield? Because we are short in that area. Obviously, I don't know if you know or not, but El Nene has been injured, and he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season by the looks of it. It's difficult.
Yes. I mean, I've had this conversation with you before, but Neves is a character in that defensive midfield position that I would love to see. We need a guy with a lot of character, but who's also got the kind of the Spider-Man-esque skills of Thomas Partey. Not many of them, but I think Neves is a good shout. I mean, there's been a number of names up in the air and with the transfer market, but gossip. But we need that defensive midfield player 100. To give Partey a bit of a rest, because it could be in the next game against Everton. Hopefully, not touch wood. But if it's not Bielsa, and if somebody like good old Fat Sam comes along, not Fat Sam, but you know who I mean, Sam Allardyce.
Just say it as it is, Harry. Big fat Sam. Just say it as it is. You can say anything you like on here. I'm telling you now.
But if we have one of these like Sean Dyche-esque kind of managers who pop into Everton, and they want that bounce of a new manager, they will come kind of smashing into the tackles. And if that hits like Xhaka or Gabriel Martinelli or Partey, and they're out for the season, that's just not acceptable. And I can see that happening. So touch wood, and hopefully it won't. But we need cover. We need cover in that defense.
100%. Look, I think with Lopetegui coming in at Wolves, I think it might be a little bit of a difficult situation getting Neves in this kind of window, which is somebody I would love. Totally. But also, there's another player out there in Nketiah that's playing for Barcelona. Personally, they're in a bit of financial trouble. From what the reports I've read, Nketiah is open to a move. And I don't know if you remember, but we played against AC Milan in the Europa League a few years back.
Yes.
And he was one of the outstanding players in that game for me. And the beauty of him is he can play as a Partey role in that number 6. He can also go and play in the Xhaka role as a number 8. And I think if he's someone that we could get for less than 30 million or around that mark, happy days. I'd snap him up all day long, because what that will do is that will also give us room to, in the summer, go and buy a player like a Declan Rice and move El Nene on, because we definitely need 2 midfielders. We definitely need a 6, and we need somebody to replace Xhaka, because we're going to touch on Xhaka now. Xhaka is a bit of an unsung hero at the moment in the team, because this guy was on the verge of going to Roma for literally about £12 million or something mad like that. And Arteta's just flipped the switch, said, no, you're staying. How impressed have you been with Xhaka?
Mate, we all remember that game against Palace, where he got sent off, and that was like end of story. He's on the fucking plane. But hats off, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Who could have imagined Xhaka playing in that left role of a 4-3-3? Who could have imagined Xhaka darting in, right, to score these amazing assists? Who could have imagined Xhaka with that incredible cross for Eddie against United, mate?
Quality.
The performance level and the leadership. Of course, Zinchenko's there. Odegaard being captain. Jesus, the levels of experience, like Premiership winners. But Xhaka in his leadership role and the respect that he commands with the players and the connection that he has with Arteta, he's been brilliant, man.
Do you know what?
The metamorphosis that Granit has had. Oh, mate.
You know what? It's actually unbelievable, Harry. It's unbelievable because, for Switzerland, we've seen him play that role where he's more of that attacking kind of midfielder sense, but also drops back in. And I think that's what benefits us massively, his defensive side of the game. He knows his defensive side of the game well. I think when he's playing in the 6 and there's quite a bit of responsibility on him, he's prone to being an aggressive player. So he is going to get them yellow cards, pick up them mistakes. If you notice, Xhaka's had no red cards this season. He's kept himself very, level-headed, and that is something that he's improved on his game massive. And you know what? He was
Yes.
about to lose his shit against Tottenham. I don't know if you've seen it. He was
At the end
about
of
to
the game.
lose his shit. Yeah. And
At the end of the
Arteta ran
game, yeah.
over to him. I said, no. Allow it. Don't do none of that.
Arteta running. That was the sweetest, cutest thing I've seen in a while, mate. Arteta legging it, because KT was getting surrounded by some Spurs players, right?
Yeah, well, to be fair, after Aaron Ramsdale got kicked and that,
Oh, yeah.
he handled it a little bit well. But obviously, the Arsenal players, they were pissed off in it, so they wanted to have a little bite back. But the great thing is, obviously, what hurt Spurs more is that we come to their ground and it was like boys against men in it. We absolutely played with them. Training session, Light Heart Lane. That's what everyone's calling it. You know what I mean? Light Work Lane. Light Work Lane. You know what I'm saying? So I think
I love it because they've been laughing in our faces so much, and the banter that they've given us over the fucking summer, mate. How we bottled it again, bottle jobs. Look at your fucking self in the mirror, man. Conte. Oh my god, total implosion. They're doing well in the transfer market, but we'll see. But mate, this is a weird situation where we kind of want Spurs to do relatively well. Especially with the City game coming out, man. That's the only time in my life I'm going to be supporting Spurs, and this is going to be against.
Let me tell you something, Harry. Don't do it. You know why? Because against City, I was supporting them, and fucking hell, the only time I want these fuckers to win, they don't go and do it. They're up 2-0, and what do they do? What Spurs do? Tottenham half Spur. That's what they are. Tottenham half Spur.
These very
guys
Spurs.
have only got a half in them.
Man. Oh,
Bro,
my Lord.
It's an absolute jokeness. And you know what? I think we just got to focus on what we need to do now, because we're good enough. We're good enough to go out there and put another run together. When we were coming back from the World Cup, everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, are they going to fall off? They're going to fall off. It's not going to be the same situation. Now we're 19 games in. We're halfway through the season. We're 5 points clear at the top with a game in hand against City. We win that game in hand, we're 8 points clear, and we still got to play them twice. Even if we draw one game and win one game, even if we draw both games, we put ourselves in a massive position, to go and do something really, really well. Now, I'm going to ask you this now. Do you honestly think that we can go on to win the Premier League from this position now?
Yes, mate. Come on all the way, man. Mate, I've waited for this for like 18 bloody years. And you know what? It's the mentality which is important, right? And the mentality has been born in that dressing room, And this mentality can only be made through failure. And the failure of last season with the top four stuff, it was massive. But if we look back in history, right? Remember the Invincibles. And the Invincibles and the season before, the failure that they had. I remember, I think I lost it against Bolton or Leeds a while back, 20 years ago or something, Remember those days, And that kind of failure spurs you on. Okay, didn't mean to.
Hey, leave that word out of here. I'm telling you now, they've already had their moment.
Yes, mate. But it's a catalyst of that level of failure gives you
it pushes you on, gives you the drive to
fail upwards, mate. And these boys in their early 20s with the magic of Arteta, and I don't know what City were thinking about releasing Jesus and Zinchenko, and a blessing in disguise. So it's a total blessing in disguise, the end of last season and all the failure. It's a blessing in disguise that we didn't get Martinez, who ended up going to United, and we got Zinchenko instead.
100%.
So hats off to the transfer policies, man. Zinchenko, mate, seriously, he's a fucking ninja. He's a ninja, mate. He's all over town, man. He was playing like right wing the other day. How does that happen, man?
Do you know what? Yeah, see, with Zinchenko, obviously, a lot of players have said it. All the Arsenal squad, they've said Zinchenko and Jesus have brought a different mentality, a different culture to the club. And I think, look, Arteta, if it wasn't for Arteta, I don't think we would have got them. I think Pep Guardiola, I don't think he's seen Arsenal as a big threat. Because obviously where we were last season, he probably thought, you know what, I'll help my mate out. I'll give him 2 players or whatnot and see how it goes. But I don't think even he expected the turnaround to be this high. And you can see Man City are missing out on a Zinchenko this season. A lot of their games that they're playing, if they had a Zinchenko and a Gabriel Jesus in their team, they'll be a lot more free flowing, a lot more fluid, and potentially getting over the line a lot more. The thing that's saving them is they got an absolute monster in Erling Haaland up front that scored 25 Premier League goals in 20 games, which is mental. He's already broke the Golden Boot record for last season. It's absolutely mad, I'm telling you. But a lot of people see it as but a lot of people see it as a detriment to Man City, that even no one's being disrespectful to Haaland, but because they're playing in a new system and in a new way, then you're not seeing the best Man City, the most fluid Man City that we've seen over the years. And I think this season really plays in our hands to really go at it. Look, Liverpool and Chelsea are holding hands in 9th and 10th down there. It's all a madness. Tottenham, they're not having the greatest time. United, they're on a bit of a resurgence, you know. Ten Hag has come in and done a good job.
Ten Hag has sorted the place out in half a year. But I'm sorry, what was he saying? He was saying like the shots, all that banter about, you know, we limited Arsenal to only having shots from outside the box, mate. Fucking hell, 25 shots, out of which 20 shots from inside the penalty area. It's like, fuck off, you know.
Bro, but, you know, 2 of our goals are inside the box anyway.
Exactly, mate.
It's a madness.
Marking out, but, you know, but hats off to them, to be honest, because their resurgence has been impressive. You know, and it's not just Casemiro, and it's not just Martinez. It's they've managed to build a team. You know, there's unity in there. And talking about unity, we're all going in the same direction. Arsenal right now, you know, it doesn't matter if you're on the pitch or if you're a sub, if you're the club cameraman or if you're security. Everybody, the Arsenal army from all over the world, we're going in the same direction, and I love every single second of it.
Do you know what? That's exactly what Cesc Fabregas said after the game. I watched the analysis, and he said he went over to the training ground, and the difference in from when he was there to how it is now, there's a real belief, not only down to the players or the manager, but everybody behind the scenes as well. There's a real belief in there as well. I was on a stream yesterday with Turkish, and he was saying that what Arteta's done is he's got an empty trophy cabinet and put it in the training ground. And he said to the boys, look, it's your job to fill up that cabinet now. And I think it's all about mentality and all about strengthening the mentality. And you got to think, no player wants to end their career without any trophies. I'm just hoping he's put that one FA Cup in there that he's won. Do you know what I mean? Just so it's not bare down to his bones, so he's not looking like Spurs. But these are the kind of stuff that we need to do. Even the atmosphere at the Emirates this season, oh my God. Away, we've always been loud away. We've always had great support away. But at home, over recent years, it's been very dull. And that's probably because a lot of people haven't been on the same page, have the same opinions. But now, the connectivity between the fans, the atmosphere is just, it's ridiculous. People know they're coming to the Emirates and they're having a fight. Not only having a fight, they got to put their armor on. They're looking to get battered. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we need to have. Players like Saka, bro. Talk to me about Saka, because this boy, man, what a star boy he is, Harry.
We have to remember what happened at the Euros, missing that penalty, the amount of stick that he had to go through, and then his performance last season. But now, you know, people say he's one of the best wingers in the Premiership. Fuck that, man. He's one of the best wingers in the whole bloody world, mate.
100.
And the way he uses his body and the way he uses his upper strength, not just, you know, his legs, right? The positioning of the ball, the flexibility that he has, and the unpredictability of his dribbling skills, and the awareness that he has, and the connection that he has with the rest of the team, man. Oh, it's a beauty to watch. It's absolutely fantastic, you know. And even if they've got 2 men or 3 men on them, you know, Ben White's always there, Odegaard's always there, Zinchenko's on the right side of the pitch, which is just unbelievable. And Eddie, and we have to speak about Eddie eventually.
Yeah, it's happening. It's going to happen. We're going to do it next.
Play, man. It's not just his finishing skills, you know, and the pressure that he manages to exert on the opposition. It's his hold-up play, which has been really impressing me. Yeah.
Because look, just before we move on to Eddie and Jesus, I wanted to touch about the kind of formation that we're playing, because we're starting to really see it now. We're starting to see Zinchenko dropping into that midfield, giving the extra body, even like you said, pushing out in more attacking areas. And this is what the difference is, because teams can't live with it. Teams can't understand and make and put the extra body in themselves. They're getting overrun in midfield. And like you said, Saka leaps and bounds. The guy's cutting in, using that left foot. Not only doing that, he can go on the outside. The whole team is very versatile at the moment. And I think at the moment, the way we're playing, we have two styles. When we attack, we're in a different style. And when we defend, we're in a different style. We have two kind of formations. We haven't just got one stagnated formation that we're trying to do everything through. And it gives us that flexibility, which is, for me, I think if we are to win the league, that is the way we're going to win the league, by just carry on doing that. Now, obviously, we do get an injury to Partey or Xhaka or somebody of that sense. It is going to be to a detriment. But it's likewise for any team. We have been a little bit lucky when it comes to injuries this season. But you can say the same about City. You can say the same about United. You can say the same about Newcastle. If they get certain injuries, it's going to be difficult for them. What we need to do is just focus on ourselves, go and buy that extra midfielder, and make sure that our squad depth is good. Because now with ESR back in the team as well, Harry, I'd like to see him kick on as well, get some minutes, because he's a fantastic player, absolutely brilliant. But he just hasn't been lucky with injuries. He's been our one player that's been a bit off. But look, it's time. Eddie, Jesus,
Yes.
Let's talk about... Let's first talk about Eddie and Nketiah, bro. I want your thoughts on Eddie, bro, because this guy, bro, what a revelation he's been.
Mate, you know, turn back the clock. And of course, everybody's been talking about the number 14 and the big contract that he had. I think it's just made him into a different player. And also, you've seen that photo of Eddie a couple of years ago and Eddie now with his top off,
Yeah, looking like a lean machine, isn't it?
Like Black Panther, mate. My Lord. He's stacked out, you know, and nobody bullies him off the ball. Remember when a couple of seasons ago, when it could have been Aubameyang or it could have been Lacazette, they would come off in like the 75th minute and we'd be winning 1-0. Eddie would come on, and time after time, there would be this lethargic performances. You know, it's almost as though we're watching a completely different person. He's electric, man. Mate, he's got the swag right now, and I'm loving it.
Bro,
he has got the swag.
Exactly what he's got, man.
Even against Newcastle, mate, you know, he had that left foot that nearly went in, and that finish against Oxford United. My God, he's like taking the piss, mate. You know, he's on a different level. He's on a different planet. And some people may kind of like slate me for this, but he should be in contention for the national side, for England, you know, because if he keeps up this if he keeps this performance up, man, you know, he's got to be in there too. So what's going to happen when big old Gabby is going to be coming back in it? This is the big question, isn't it?
You know, it's going to be difficult, but you know what? Look, Harry, I'm not going to lie. I can't sit here and say that I had 100% belief in Eddie and Nketiah, because
me too,
the reason why, because we know he's got a good goal scoring record, but it's the bits that we're seeing now that I never seen before, which was, like I've said many times on many streams, he's starting to emulate the style of Jesus, and he's dropping back in. He's linking up with the players. He's holding the ball up. He's doing the defensive work. And not only that, he's putting the ball in the back of the net. And this is where, for me, I would think it'd be it'd be very sad for Eddie if Jesus just comes in and goes straight into the lineup. Reason being, because Jesus was struggling a little bit. Ivan Toney here says in the comment as well, Jesus was struggling a little bit before his injury to score goals. Now, he does give us something very different. He does create. If we look at the goals that they've scored this season, Eddie scored 4 in the Premier League. Jesus has scored 5. So he does still get his goals, Jesus, and he is that mentality monster on the pitch. He's won loads of Premier Leagues with Man City. So he would give it us. Would you say, look, Martinelli, for me, I love Martinelli. I think he's unbelievable. But do you think there's an option there for Jesus out on the left and Eddie and Nketiah up front?
Yes, I agree with that. We have to focus on we have to talk about the point that the connection that Martinelli had with Jesus, you know, I think they complemented each other very, very, very well, you know. So if Jesus comes back, we could just give Martinelli a bit of a rest, or especially with Trossard and ESI in the equation too. But I'm not on the boat of giving Martinelli stick for his latest performances.
No, definitely
all
not.
this stuff about his dribbling is so kind of one patterned, and there's no kind of like a plan B to the way he brings the ball. No. The amount of intensity, the energy that he has is just incredible.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, Martinelli, man.
But again, what's important is the versatility. It's not sticking to plan A. We need to have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D too. So I can see Eddie going up there up front in the same position that he's playing right now, and then Jesus on the left. But we take it game by game. If we're playing against a ridiculous winger like Rashford, like bringing in a Tomiyasu there, and Tomiyasu shuts people off. He commands the game very well. So it's this versatility, and that's so important.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And this is a nice problem to have. We haven't had a problem like this in Arsenal for a very long time. Where we can.
A year ago, we had Granit playing left back, man. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, you know what? He did an all right job, though. I'm not going to lie. He did an all right job at left back. He did an all right job.
We were saying, oh, fucking hell, KT's injured. We're so stuffed. There's no, we're not going to be able to play. Oh, Granit did a good job, but there was no overlapping involved at all. He couldn't overlap to save his life. But you look at him now, he's overlapping like a madman. And that cross against United, just says how much we've improved in this year.
Definitely. Who do you think's a better finisher, Eddie or Gabby? Jesus.
Well, right now it's got to be Eddie, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It has to be Eddie right now. And the momentum, Premsy, mate, you've been going on about momentum. Yeah. The momentum that Eddie has right now, keep him there. And Jesus, he may be back at the end of February, but to match fitness, probably more like beginning of March. So who do we have? We've got Everton, we've got Brentford, Villa, Leicester. Why don't we just stay with Eddie, and then bring in ESI into the games, bring in Trossard into the games, and then who knows? Jesus could just come off, have a cameo role, come in like the 75th minute, and then give us a couple of goals too.
No, definitely. Big up, Zami Assi, for the super chat. I'm going to read this out for you. We need a striker so Trossard and Eddie can have competition. Jesus can play on the wing. We need a backup for Partey and backup for Saliba and Gabriel. So 4 signings we need. Well, we brought that Jacob Caviar, whatever the hell his name is. I don't even know how to say his name now. I'm saying Caviar, like, the food and that, bro. It's all a madness. But we brought him.
He looks gangster, man. He looks gangster.
Do you know what? He's had very high praise from Robert Lewandowski, hasn't he? Robert Lewandowski's come out and said he's a real player, and we got somebody put in the comments, you have Lokonga. Nah, that ain't good enough backup. Lokonga needs a loan, man. He needs a loan. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to slate him too much, but he needs a loan just in case he comes good and makes me look like a knobhead as well, like everybody else has. but you know what?
Who knows? Yeah.
It's a bit of a funny one, but look, I think we definitely need to maybe upgrade on a Rob Holding, and that'll obviously be in a Saliba's position. I definitely agree with that, Zane. Striker, I think we could potentially do with one more striker, just a different option, maybe somebody tall, a bit like a Giroud, someone like that, because there's room for another striker in the team. I see that. But I think for Gabriel, I think the left-sided centre-back that we brought in, I think he's probably going to be the man for Arteta. I think Arsenal have been after him for a little while now, so it's not it's not in the senses that we've just kind of panicked and gone out for him. He's definitely been on the radar, because that's something Edu said. He's gone out there to Poland to tie down that deal when we all thought it was the Mudryk deal that he was going out for. But I do hear what people are saying. Arsenal fans want to see the backup for Thomas Partey 110%, because Thomas Partey is just on a different level. He's been the best centre defensive midfielder in the league. And for me, this guy, he needs a replacement. He needs a rest here and there. Let's see what Zane's saying. Big up for the super chat, Zane. Much appreciated. Foden getting bored at City. He wants to play for Arteta. Oh, that's a shout. That's a shout.
That is a big shout, but I'm sorry, he's not going to get into the team right now. I'm sorry, not right now.
We got Man City fans inside the chat as well. They're not happy about that. They are not happy about that. But you know what? Obviously, he's a Manchester lad, Foden. I think he loves the club, to be honest with you. I think if he was to try to prize a Foden away, you're looking at best part of 80 to 100 million, where I don't think Arsenal are going to want to spend that kind of money.
Have you got any words about the transfer market being just outrageous? We're talking about people, okay, yes, 45 million, that's a bargain. No. It's a madness, man. We're talking about Caicedo now for what, 80 million? What is going on, man? People are going properly haywire, man.
You know what it is? It's Man United who's absolutely fucked it for everyone. When they've gone and brought a shit player like Anthony for 90 million, they've killed everyone. But you know what it is? In this day and age now, the 50 million, the 30 millions, the new 50 million, because of the way people have inflated prices. Look at Chelsea, man. They're going out there buying players for mad amounts of money. They must have brought about 20 odd players in their squad. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. Like, I don't understand.
I don't know how they're going to think about actually having unity inside that squad, man. There's a whole bunch of egos in there, and there's just... It's a total madness with Chelsea. I like to see the madness happen, and I like to see them buying all sorts of players, left, center, and right, left, right, and center. But mate, if it was an Ancelotti, or if it was maybe a Conte, they could probably do the job. But Graham Potter, I love Potter and his tactics and the way he's so he's put that vibe into Brighton, but I don't think Chelsea are going to finish in the top four. No way, 100%.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you heard what I said about Mudryk, but I'm not happy with him. I hope he breaks his leg. I know it sounds bad. I'm just being 110%, bro. I'm telling you now for a fact, this guy's a little pussy hole. If he wanted to play for Arsenal, he would have come to us. And you know what? He looks a bright spark as well. So I'm kind of hating. I'm not going to lie.
But you don't know what, I'm not going to defend him with that amount of love that he put up on Instagram. An amount of sucking off that he put it out. I feel kind of wrong with the situation, but we can't. We've got to take it as a blessing in disguise with Trossard and with the other players coming in. It's money well spent.
I hear that, but I'm salty over it. I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted him to come in, bro. I just say it as it is and keep it 110. This guy seen the money, and thought, right, fuck that. I'm not seeing that kind of money. I'm going to Chelsea. But it's one of them situations. I think Arteta wants to bring players in that generally want to play for the club. Doesn't matter how much they're getting paid or whatnot. That's the kind of mentality. So I understand and I get it as well. Trossard, Premier League proven, it's probably just what we need really if we want to go on and push on for the title. Zayn Miasi says, why does Saeed think Casemiro is the best thing since sliced bread? Big up to my boy Saeed. You know what these United fans are saying, Zayn? These United fans, they live in their own bubble, innit? You get me? One player comes in. I'm not going to lie, Casemiro has been pretty good since he's joined United, and he's pretty much turned them around. Not single-handedly, but he's been a big part of their turnaround and the stopping the flow of goals that they normally concede. But, bro, I'm telling you, Casemiro, for me, hit Thomas Partey all day, every day. If somebody said to me now, would you swap Casemiro for Thomas Partey? I'd say no. 110%. I'll say no. Not. And that's not me just being biased. That's me being 100%. People might say, oh, what? He's won this many Champions Leagues. He's won this. He's won that. Yeah, but he's not done it in the Premier League just yet with United, has he? So until he starts doing it in the Premier League with United, then I'll start understanding and thinking, right, he's won this and won that with United. But for me, I think what Thomas Partey gives us on the transition, a defense to attack, I don't think Casemiro will be able to give us that. 100%. Big up yourself. But look, we haven't touched on one man, and I've saved him to last, Harry. I've saved him to last. Can you guess who that is?
Oh, who could it be? Is it the gaffer? No. Oh, is it the man coming back from injury? No. Who's it going to be, man? Tell me, mate. Tell me.
Come on. I don't know how you haven't realised. Martin Odegaard.
Oh,
that's who it is.
Of course. Oh, my Lord.
The Norwegian Viking. We've not spoke about him.
He's giving us Kevin De Bruyne vibes all over the pitch, and I love it. He can see the pitch 360 degrees right now. And it's not just his finishing skills, man. It's his link-up play, his leadership. He's been mental, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that people are encouraging him to kind of shoot. Not just the fans, but his teammates too. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit 44. Big up to yourself for the super chat. He says, let's wait till Mudryk plays someone not 37 years old. Yeah. You know what?
Yes.
We're going to have to wait and see in it. But the guy looks blistering fast. Obviously, I don't think he's that clinical as what everyone makes out, because the opportunity he had at the back post, I'd be expecting him to bury that if he was at Arsenal. But I think he's recorded the highest sprint speed in the Premier League so far, which is some doing. I was hoping Zinchenko unfollowed him on Instagram and all that as well, but obviously it wasn't the case. But it's a bit of a mad situation, bro. But look, Martin Odegaard, this guy, what a revelation this guy has been. He's come into the Arsenal. We've had him on loan, and bro, we took a risk. We took a punt on him. There was talks about James Maddison. Let's go out and get James Maddison. And to be fair, I would have been happy with Maddison because I think he's a fantastic player.
I remember that.
Arteta stuck with Odegaard. Now he feels at home. He feels loved. He's not being put. He has been pushed from pillar to post. Now he's stable. He's club captain at the age of 24. He's only just 24. We've got so much of Odegaard to go. So much of this magician to go. And he's like, he's an upgrade, a real upgrade on Mesut Ozil. A real upgrade on Mesut Ozil.
You can't put them in the same basket, you know. I mean, prime time Mesut Ozil. Yes, he was an orchestra. He was a composer. He was a magician too. But the intensity, come on, the intensity that Martin Odegaard has in like the 93rd minute of chasing down their centre back or chasing down their keeper, it doesn't look too extravagant. I mean, his ball touch is just it's hentai, as the Japanese would say. It's like a pervert. That double Dutch skill that he played in Japan with, you know, and the nutmegs too. But it's just, you know, it's his leadership and kind of like he does exactly what Arteta wants to. He's Arteta's son, man. You know, Arteta doesn't need to open his mouth. He just needs to look at the boy, and they know what exactly they need to do. There's some serious chemistry there.
Literally, he's like the glue in between all the players. Like he literally just he's just unbelievable to watch. And you know what? When you watch Odegaard and he picks the ball up, you think, right, something's going to happen. Something is going to happen here. And for a long time, we've not seen that at Arsenal. We normally get the ball, it's sideways passing. You're thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, pass it forward, do something, beat a man, do a nice little tricky pass. This guy's doing flip-flops and putting the ball through. You know what I mean? It's absolutely mad. It's mad what he's doing. And it's no surprise that the two best players in the league right now are two Norwegian Vikings, mate. I'm telling you. Incredible. And I hope to God, that he can give us some insight to play against Haaland in the Premier League games, because he knows Haaland better than anybody else. And I think it's going to be one of them. But let's see what Zayn Mias is saying. Big up Zayn with a super chat again. Did you see rumours Ollie going to Everton and Pogba, I'm guessing, going back to Manchester United? If United sign Pogba again, they are fucking daft. They let him go twice for free. That can't be happening. That cannot happen, Zayn. They let him go for free twice. If they bring him back again, they need to get relegated, mate, for making them kind of decisions, because that is fucking ridiculous. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to Everton, he might be able to get him out of the shit, but when he was at Cardiff, we didn't see anything great when he was with a team with not really much resources, and Everton are in a bit of a pickle right now.
Bielsa's just flown into. He's just flown in. This is what I've heard.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I think Bielsa's just flown in. But come on, Bielsa and Everton, it just doesn't work. That kind of football does not work with like a squad like that, mate. That's total implosion. That's definitely guaranteed relegation, I've got to say, if he does actually take the job, mate.
They need to get Harry Redknapp out of retirement, mate. That's what they need to do. Harry Redknapp, get him out of that.
I think Sean Dyche should be.
I think Sean Dyche, I think he would probably be the man to keep them up. You know, the guy's done it with Burnley time in, time out, and he'll have a better squad at Everton than he would at Burnley. Do you know what I mean? He knows that Dwight McNeil and stuff like that, so he'll already have his progeny there already that he already knows how to play with. And I think his presence and his character, you can see he's a real man. Do you know, one of them real men that doesn't take no nonsense and just literally he's got a proper backbone. You can see that in Dyche, but because he's not the most fanciest name, or if he comes in, would it please the Everton fans? Obviously, we're hearing people are getting put in headlocks outside Everton Stadium, and that it's a madness, you know what I mean? But I think that was all a bit of a lie, you know. I think it was come to be a bit of a lie, but that would have been mad that get me putting directors in headlocks outside the ground. I can understand, get me? I can understand, because last season when we was in relegation zone, I was ready to put everybody in a headlock because you feel the pain, but yeah, I can't see them going in for I can't see them going in for Dash. I think Bielsa, they're gonna go for Bielsa because they're gonna want to try to see some kind of decent football. I think the Everton fans, they're just in disarray at the moment, man. They want to see something positive.
They're going to have Bielsa into the equation. That match that we're going to have in 2 weeks' time, guaranteed, it should be a walkthrough, you know, because his tactics, the level of exertion that his football has on his players, that's not going to materialize in the space of 2 weeks. That materialize in basically half a year, or like, you know, if it goes according to plan, maybe 2 months. So I'm not too worried about that Everton game, but you know, fingers crossed.
You know what? 100%. But it's fucking is always difficult for us going to the Everton game. I'm telling you, it's always difficult going to Goodison Park, man. We don't end up having a good time there, man. Last season as well.
Was it in Goodison Park that Tomiyasu got stamped on? Remember?
It was. We got beat that game, innit? Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the start of our bad run as well. So that game there, it was just, it was a bit of a. I don't like going Goodison as well. I normally go away to Goodison, and that it's an old school ground, proper old school. All their fans are proper old school fans as well. They create a good atmosphere down there. Yeah, so it's a tough place to go, but I think we're playing them at the right time as well. The only problem is the new manager bounce. That's the only thing where I could get a little bit worried and think, you know what? Normally, when a new manager comes in, they tend to have that. But you know what? We went to Wolves just before Christmas. Lopetegui got signed. He came through. The fans give him a big fucking wave and all of that. They were all buzzing, and we managed to get over the line there. So I think we've already kind of come over that.
Do it, no props, mate.
But look, before we wrap it up, Harry, let's just touch on the game tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Big one. Do you reckon we should field out our strongest side? Bear in mind, we have 8 days until the next Premier League game. Or do you think we should, you know, keep some cards back in this FA Cup, not show all the cards, and give some players like Tomiyasu, Leandro, give players like that a go, Emil Smith-Rowe, get some minutes in their legs and see what they can offer us? How would you play it?
How would I play it?
How would you play it? How
Arteta's going to play it? I'm fairly sure how Arteta's going to play it. For me, I want that mentality. I want that momentum. I want Arteta to go in full in with our strongest squad, apart from Martinelli and Trossard, bringing in Trossard instead of Martinelli. So I want to see the whole shebang out there. I want to see the fireworks erupt. But I'm very, very sure Arteta is going to put in Tomiyasu right back, bring in Trossard, and could even play Vieira too in there too. You know, I want a complete kind of complete domination of City now, so we can do it when it comes to the game in three weeks' time. Is it against City? You know,
you want to get that mentality over him on him.
Exactly, but this is just me. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm so sure Arteta's going to play his card B. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think he's going to do that as well. I think I won't be surprised if he goes with a bit of a mixed team where what I predicted a little bit earlier on an earlier stream, I predicted he'd go with a Turner in goal.
Yep, I can see that.
Because Turner's quite a good goalkeeper, to be honest with you. He hasn't put a foot wrong since he's come in. Yeah, Turner in goal. I can see him with playing Tomiyasu at right back.
Yeah,
I can see him bringing Rob Holding and Gabriel at the centre backs, because he likes to give Rob Holding a rotation in games like this. I can see him playing Kieran Tierney at left back. I have a feeling he will go with the same three in the middle of the park, just so they can get a bit of an understanding of what City's going to be like when they play against them. Because when we do play against them in the league, we don't want it to be a shell shock where the best City turn up And the best Arsenal turn up, but the overrunners in midfield because, you know, they got the capacity to do so and they've got world-class players. So maybe give them a little feel for it and maybe alter that drawing later on in the game. I think Trossard will definitely start. I think Nketiah and Xhaka will start. I think you'll see players like Emil Smith-Rowe and Vieira coming on maybe just after half time or 60 minutes in just to see how it goes. Just so a lot of the first teamers can get a bit of a feel of the City team, feel of the squad, feel of how they're playing and what it's going to be like when we play them further on. But I 100% agree with you. If we get the victory, it'll give us a psychological edge. 100%.
Exactly.
Give us a psychological edge. Definitely agree. But at the same time,
yes, even worse comes to worse, man. Even if we get knocked out of the FA Cup, if we get like 2 points from those 2 games against City, like a draw and a draw, that's not a bad result.
Happy days. Happy days. Like I said, we just imagine we could go and win the Europa League and the Premier League. Like at the moment, we're the best team in Europe right now. We are actually the best team in Europe, and that's not even exaggerating. And if you look at the points, 50 points after 19 games, that's up there. We're the second most high-scoring team. You take out Haaland's 25 goals out City with the first. Do you know what I'm saying? And even defensively, with the second to Newcastle and Eddie Howe, he's a very clever manager. When he was off, he went over to Atletico Madrid. He was studying Simeone's style of play and how he defends, and he came back and brought that straight back into his new job in Everton. And it's paying off a treat.
What a defense!
Oh man, they came to the Emirates.
Newcastle defenders in your FPL a must.
Yeah, definitely. How are you doing in the league, in the Premier League, Unpacked League? I haven't even checked it for a little while.
Badly. I think I'm like 3rd in the league that I'm in with you. I managed to score 99 points in the last one because I put in Eddie.
I need to put in Eddie.
Yes. I stick to the Arsenal boys, man. You know,
I'm gonna have to copy your team, man. Fucking hell, I must be like 7th or 8th. I'm telling you.
And another one that you want to put in FPL is Mitoma, that Japanese lad.
Oh god, yeah. I made a mistake, didn't I? After I seen Solly March score like 2-3 goals or whatever it might be. I put him in, but in my head at the time I was thinking, you know what, Mitoma or March, because when Mitoma played us, when they beat us inside the Carabao Cup, if you remember. Bro, he was ripping, man. A new one, absolutely ripping, man. And I didn't know nothing about him. And he's 25 years of age as well. I thought he was younger than that. But he's at a good age and he's quite mature. So he's going to have to be a player to go out. I wouldn't even mind Arsenal going and buying a Mitoma, to be honest with you. Like, how direct he is. He's looking the real deal.
Yeah. He's probably Japan's best defensive player in a decade or so right now.
Attacking.
Yes, very exciting. And that goal that he scored the other day, you know, and curling it round, you know, kind of reminded us of Henry-esque vibes, you know, his first touch. And he's got this weird way of dribbling where you don't know what's going to come next, a bit like Xhaka, you know. So, yeah, we'll see how he develops, and he'll probably have a big move in the summer or maybe next year in January. But, yeah, he's quality. He's real.
As long as he don't come to us and go to Spurs like Iwabuchi, I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that.
I've been speaking to good old Mana, you know, and you know, she loves Arsenal to bits, and still, she just needed that bit of working game time for the World Cup, you know. And
she is going to be back though, ain't she?
I'm pretty sure she'll be back, but it's a loan, mate. And
because she's a quality player, man. She needed to be in the squad, in my opinion. Like,
exactly. But did you see how much game time she was getting?
Yeah, she wasn't getting anything really, was she?
Zero. Yeah, so she needed to get out, you know. And best of luck to her. And I'm very, very sure that at the end of the season, she'll be back.
Yeah, she better be back. I'm telling you, have words. Tell her don't go on the dark. Don't do a Sol Campbell on us.
I've heard so much about what's going on inside that Spurs camp, but I'm going to shut my mouth and not let it spill. You know, there's a lot of good banter from that Spurs camp. Yeah.
Okay, say no more. You got to keep your lips sealed. But look, finally, Harry, let's get some predictions on tomorrow's game. What are you going with?
Okay.
Honestly, though, honest predictions, what you actually think it's going to be.
I don't want this, but I can see a 2-2 draw happening, mate. And it's a draw. We don't need that extra game against City, you know. I'm happy with us going out, but it's going to be heavily contested, and we'll get a good feel of it, and it'll be good banter, good information, good experience before those 2 games against City. A 2-2 draw, I predict.
You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth. I've been predicting it on streams all week too.
Mm.
I think it's definitely good. I think it will definitely be a draw. I think, like you said, it's something that we cannot afford to have an extra game because I think it's daft. Of it, FA Cup, they need to just don't play a replay, go straight to penalties because it takes a toll too much. But again, obviously the FA want to make their money and this is how they do it. So I suppose is what we're gonna have to do. But I agree with you. If we could go there and beat them, happy days. Obviously, that's my first choice. But if we can't do that, a draw. I'm not really feeling a draw. You get me? But if
no, we don't need a draw.
It could be a blessing in disguise if we was to out the cup and focus on 2 cups. Do you know what I'm saying? So
exactly, mate.
Just a bit like the Carabao Cup. With that, if we would have came back after Christmas and we would have had a Carabao Cup fixture before West Ham, which then would have made the West Ham game a little bit more difficult, and it might have City might have even closed that gap because anything could have happened. Exactly. But it is what it is. But people, thank you very much for tuning in. Harry, my brother, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Bless all of you, man. Bless all of you Arsenal fans. And I'm coming to the UK in April, so I'll hopefully see all of your beautiful faces and up fucking Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal.
Come on, the boys.
Come on,
Peace
Arsenal.
and love, people. Make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back soon. Peace and love.